I'm Kathy Helmick. I'm currently serving as the division head, the acting division head for the Defense and Veterans Brain Injury Center, or known as DVBIC. I was excited to hear the keynote by Dr. McCarthy. I don't think my brain has moved that fast or processed information that fast in a long time. There was so much information that she gave, and it was very heartening to know how much information, how much we've evolved over the last little bit. And so I was just keenly aware in listening to every bit of data points that she was articulating. So I really enjoyed her talk. I think it gave me a lot of hope for the future, and a lot of I felt really good about where we've been so far. Pink concussion, first of all, is a fabulous idea to bring together folks to be looking at domestic violence and military-related concussion and sports concussion. And in what I represent is the military concussion portion. And the Defense Department is extremely interested in making sure that we are studying this and that we have care standards, if appropriate, for female concussions, sustaining female concussions. So what I've seen in the evolution, so I'm here to gather information. I'm here to continue to see how much understanding women in traumatic brain injury remains a gap in our knowledge base, because our research in the Department of Defense is based on gaps. So it's a requirements-driven portfolio. So I've seen over the last 2 years just the evolution of information. A lot more labs around the country and around the world. It's great that you have the Canadians here today, and we heard from them about some exciting work that they're doing. So I think from a multi-pronged standpoint, looking at the biomechanics, the hormonal, the bio-psychosocial, spiritual aspects of this is just phenomenal. And every conference seems as though it's evolving, both with more information and more direct vignettes to help us really stay grounded on what people are suffering, females are suffering after sustaining concussions. You know, I think that coming to conferences where you have the epicenter of folks that are working this issue really highlights where the gaps are, so that more questions are raised after you're sitting here listening to what the data is producing. And I think the questions that are being asked during our panel time really elucidates that. And I think that there's many people that are attending this conference now that this is their life's work. I mean, we've heard decades, 27 years, 20 years working on this area. So I think that coming to a conference that the NIH is sponsoring here in Bethesda has really helped to hone in on the areas that we continue to have nil answers. It also highlights that there's some areas like the domestic violence piece where I today found out just how very little we have in terms of empirical data. The lunch panel, where people can share their stories and really tell us how this has affected their life, is very grounding, and I think it's a great contribution to the conferences. It's nice to have the balance of science and get really hard with data, and then also have the personal vignettes so that you really do hear how this can translate. Because as somebody mentioned in the conference today, we take the information and it cycles back to more research, but there's the other vector in taking the information and having it help people now. So I'm excited about the future and what Pink Concussions holds.